Hi everybody, welcome to episode 25 of A Fern Between Us.
Hey. We are two of the four owners of Bebach Winery. We've got a special guest today. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Jesse. This one is Michelle.
This one.
I
don't know.
Not this one. Looks like I'm pointing at Chris.
All right, we do have a special guest today. We have Mr. Goblet. He actually got his marketing degree in the U.S., but studied in England and Germany. Did
What?
you know that?
I knew he knew German. I didn't know why.
Because he's absolutely amazing. He has an incredible resume full of just phenomenal marketing jobs, gigs, with some really cool organizations and companies. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but it does include a design firm in New York and redesigning and invigorating the Albuquerque downtown. He opened his own production company. He's even worked on film crews in France. I mean, really?
What?
Yeah. So before he came to us, to the New Mexico Wine Association, he was helping the New Mexico Breweries, New Mexico Brewers Guild. That's what it is. So our sister industry, we are lucky enough that we got to steal him over to our side, and I have been lucky enough to work with him on many marketing jobs, and I just think he is so gifted. There's people that can study marketing, and then there's people that have a gift with it, and he definitely does.
I don't think he's gifted. I think he's got ADHD.
You can have both.
Maybe that's the glorious combination that is Chris Goblet. How you doing, man?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be here. My first time on a Fern Between Us. I hope to have, after 5 visits, a jacket like SNL in the future. That would be cool if you had gifts for return guests. But no, the funny thing is that Michelle is reading my resume for the first time, and Jesse read it probably didn't read it 4 years ago when I got interviewed for the job. And so, again, this is the beautiful dynamics of the transfer of information over at the Padberg household.
Yes.
So right you are, Goblet. You are.
Imagine being one of the 4 of us. That's always a fun one where it's like, wait, we're doing what? Oh, gosh, I had no idea.
It's called Padberg math. 2 of the 4 of the 6 owners or something like that, Yeah.
Exactly. So we are super excited about Grape Aid that is happening this weekend. So I'm going to jump into some questions so that we can start talking about that as well. Cool. Our first question for you is, as your role as executive director at New Mexico Wine Association, what have been some of the changes you've seen during your time with us?
What I love about working with associations and organizations is the fact that you've got like-minded people who may not always be on the exact same path, but they all have the same goal. And I've seen this with brewers, with farmers when I ran the downtown growers market in Albuquerque, property owners in downtown Albuquerque. We don't always agree. It's sort of like COVID, or it's sort of like voting. Like, we don't always agree what's the best path to get there. But we always agree on what the destination is. And what I love to do with organizations, and, one of the things that I feel like I bring to New Mexico Wine is that ability to kind of get everybody on the same page. And I think the coolest thing that we've done is we came up with this, which is probably reading backwards. But Viva Vino, to me, is sort of like the bloodline of the New Mexico wine growers. Like, that's the battle cry. That's our toast. It's, when we get together, Viva Vino. When we have our gatherings and our wine festivals or our conferences, it's always a word that circulates in the conversation. And I want for all of us as like a group to continue to build on that Viva Vino momentum. What I think is attractive about it from a marketing standpoint is that it's got action. It's live wine, celebrate wine. And that's really, what we have to do in New Mexico is one of these small wine regions that's not necessarily front and center, it's not top of mind, is that, we can try to compete with Napa and their budgets and their soils and their perfect climate. But, I'm not, I don't want to be a Valley girl. I want to be a New Mexican. I want us to be proud of the grapes that we grow in New Mexico. I want us to celebrate our terroir and our unique winemaking talents. And so I just feel like that has been a shift in the last 4.5 years, working with your husband and the rest of the board and all the wine growers, is to say, we have something special that we should tell the world about.
Absolutely. We're all wearing our swag. I've got my Viva Vino shirt on.
I got my Viva Vino hat.
I love the slogan. I love the movement. I love the new branding. All of that came about because you came on board and gave New Mexico wine a direction, and I think that's so phenomenal. And one of the things that we are currently, you look like maybe you want to say something.
No,
okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Do I need to call on
Don't
you?
let Jesse talk.
Whatever
Not
possible.
going to work well for any of us.
Especially he got off work like 2 hours ago and he got home already
he
having.
barely respond to questions. Don't let him lead the questions. That would be a bad idea.
Well, so as we start talking about what you've done so far, which has been phenomenal and a huge movement and bonding of all of the wineries coming together for a common goal, we're also in a very unique crisis situation in 2020. And from your unique perspective, working with all of the wineries in the state, what do you see as the common issue that all wineries and vineyards are having as a crisis situation that Grape Aid is actually stepping in to help?
Obviously adapting your business practices was sort of phase one of this, which I think, everybody had their own qualms with the idea of, okay, a mask, putting up plexiglass and these things. Now that they're commonplace, I don't think it's so much adapting to the actual physical elements of the pandemic. I think it's adapting to the sort of the way the psychology of the customer has changed. And I think those, wineries that are more socially active in social media, like what we're doing today with the virtual tastings, are going to be rewarded for their excellence in being able to, manage this new platform of communication. I think it's hard to inspire sales. I think it was easy before because we're so tactile and we're so, hand to mouth with the wines that it was a really easy sale, and getting people comfortable to come back to tasting rooms is another challenge that I think we're going to face. If you're a winery in New Mexico and you're not Gruner and you're not St. Clair, and maybe Jasper up in Noisy Water, just maybe, but even he loves his tasting rooms. We are a direct-to-consumer, face-to-face interaction industry. That's how we've done it forever. And so for this to come along and for our industry to have to adapt, we have some older winery owners who I think are going to have to rely on the next generation to help them adapt. We have some younger winery folks who are going to exceed at this and they're going to excel. But it's changing the customer interaction with the product because everybody wants to taste it before they'll buy a bottle without tasting it. But if they're going to buy a case or buy a future, they want to taste from the barrel. They want to taste that wine and then walk out with a case. And so we have to change our ability to explain product and sell product. And that is how we're going to save our industry.
Absolutely. And so that's what you've essentially set up with Grape Aid and these mixed cases. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea of Grape Aid? And it's really unique on a national scale to do something like this. And a lot of people might not have heard, even though we've been sharing it like crazy, what exactly it is. So if you could talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, so Grape Aid came from the fact that after, 4 months, I think it was March 15th until July 30th, wineries were closed, something like 40 days longer than any other wine region in the United States. And that had an impact on our ability to sell because we are so direct to consumer. We also had our 2 festivals canceled, Memorial Day and Labor Day. And so I had one wine grower, his name is Al Knight from Acequia Winery, who called me up and said, hey, you need to help find a way. I got to shake my finger because that's probably what he was doing. You need to help find a way to sell all the wine that we would have sold if we had festivals. And I
a
thought,
little bit of pressure.
He's right. We gotta. That's our job as an association, is to fill that gap. And so, one of my graphic designers said, "What you need is a good old-fashioned farm aid." And within 2 seconds, Grape Aid came out, and we were like, "That's it. That's the idea. We're running with it, 100%." That happened on June 20th, a few days before the governor announced that we could reopen his wineries. And so in the last 2 months, we've been able to sell $50,000 worth of wine.
You mean July 20th? It was July 20th, Chris.
These mixed 3-packs, 6-packs, and 12-packs on grapeaid.com and said, hey, you can't go to festivals, but you can get the festival experience. It's a virtual harvest festival. And so first of all, it was just, hey, let's sell some wine. You know, it's not philanthropy. It's just, if you're going to buy wine in August or September, buy it from us. And then it evolved into, well, Grape Farm Aid was a concert. Grape Aid should be a concert. Let's get some musicians that we hire for all of our festivals. And then we shot to, could we get some national musicians? And all of a sudden you have now, Grape Aid is a 50-musician live / pre-recorded virtual benefit concert, just like Farm Aid, where you can donate during the whole, it's telethon style. I'm a huge fan of Jerry Lewis and PBS growing up in those 80s and 90s telethons. Man, that was some rich entertainment for me, particularly Jerry Lewis. And I get to be Jerry Lewis in this scenario, who's my hero. So, of course, I created my own telethon to help sell wine, and actually now to promote the music industry in New Mexico and the film and TV industry. It's become a really cool, fun project. And if you haven't been to grapeaid.com, go check it out now while you're watching this, and you'll learn more about it as I keep blabbing on.
Yes, and tell us who the headliner is.
Oh, ELLE KING.
Woo!
ELLE KING. X's and O's, they got me, because I don't sing it. Anyway, you heard the song. I did it good enough. You know you've heard it on the radio. ELLE
Yes!
King she moved to Santa Fe. So she called up our producer and said, we want to be a part of your show. Well, actually, that didn't happen, but that's how I remember it happening.
I think maybe she called me personally and said, I'd like you to be my best friend.
No, actually, to be true credit, a month before she reached out to Jamie Len Festidam Concerts, your husband said you should get ELLE KING. She just had this awesome special with her dad, Rob Schneider, on HBO. She's a badass. You should get ELLE KING. And I called my contacts and I put out a word, and I got Jesse, the president of our organization, his wish, and she's performing for us along with 50 other amazing musicians. In fact, I have some clips if you want to see here when we're done doing the interview and looking at me.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. If you can actually even put those in the comments, that would be awesome. So then people can click on those. So
Sweet.
We've got a final question for you, and that is this focus forward for our 400th anniversary for New Mexico Wine. It's going to be in 2029. We are super excited about it. We being the marketing committee that I get to sit on with Chris, and we get to brainstorm all kinds of fun things really far in the future. And so, your enthusiasm for this and making it a epic, mammoth proportion style celebration is really exciting. Can you tell all of our viewers about how awesome our 400th anniversary celebration is going to be?
Of course. That's what everyone's been waiting for since episode 1. Here we are 25 later, just now revealing the big story of 2020. That is 9 years from now. You are all invited, free of charge, if you are here for this. Just take a screenshot and text it to Jesse or Michelle and be like, I was there, Fern between us, free tickets. Anyway,
Love
in
it.
2029, New Mexico was, the first grapes were planted here, seriously folks, the first grapes were planted here in 1629 by a rebel monk who smuggled illegal vines into New Mexico. And if that's not a New Mexico story, I have no other good New Mexico stories to tell you. He planted these first grapes. He made our industry happen 391 years ago. And Grape Aid is about preserving more than just this industry or the grape growers. It's about preserving a culture, a heritage that we exclusively own in this country. The first place that grapes were planted, here. And when I was with Robert Mirabal in your vineyard talking about, just talking about this project, I said, American history started in New Mexico. It didn't start in Philadelphia or DC
Right.
American history began here. And our wine culture is part of that American history. And so Grape Aid is here to save this, to hit the reset button. If we can raise $1 million in one day, we will save the grape industry, the winemakers will be whole, and we can go about our business and save the next industry down the line, because we're going to have to do that one by one.
Yep.
With restaurants, with the breweries. All of our friends need help right now, and we're asking for one day. We want September 12th to be Grape Aid Day. We'll entertain the shit out of you for 10 hours, and we ask for a donation or buy wine. And really, buying wine is imbibing philanthropically. That is so important these days, because you can still donate to charities, but you're going to buy wine anyway. Just buy it from us.
I love it.
I agree.
So I'm sorry, the 400th anniversary is coming. This is the beginning. And I didn't know how we were going to get there, and I now know how. We're going to ride Grape Aid train all the way into 2029. And those performers who are here with us this year, 9 years from now, they're going to be begging to be at the 400th anniversary when we rent out all of Expo New Mexico. And just like you have a state fair with like 500,000 people coming over an 11-day period, that's going to be it's like an Oktoberfest for wine in New Mexico. Does that sound right?
I love it. I love it.
Hells to the yeah. I agree, man. This is going to be insane.
So before we actually let you go, we do have a new little spotlight that we throw our guests into. It is just without thinking, your instinct of an answer. We've got a couple of questions. We got Karen's questions. Are
Hold
you
on.
ready?
Are we really going to just breeze over the fact that he said...
I'm married. I can already answer the question. Taken.
Taken. happily committed. Are we going to breeze over the fact that he said hand to mouth? That was like 3 questions ago, but come on. Nobody even blinked.
Because we were having a serious interaction here, sir. All right, we're getting to Karen's questions. The first one is, what's your favorite smell?
Smell?
Yes.
Oh, I would have to be my dog, Margot.
Dang.
I love the way she's my sweet baby. I don't have kids. I only have dogs, and it's the first dog my wife and I had. So if I can snuggle up with my baby girl, that's the best smell in the world.
Oh, that's cute. All right, what do you hope when you die someone says about you at your memorial?
Oh, wow. Well, I want a lot of people. I mean, I already have a pretty long guest list. I mean, musicians who owe me favors. I think Jesse Padberg shouldn't speak because he's just not good at it. But maybe he could write something in advance and somebody could say it for him. But, what I really want people to know about me is that I'm from Ohio and I moved to New Mexico, and this is my home now. And so I would love to be considered an adopted child of New Mexico.
Oh, that's really cute. All right, what is the best advice you've ever been given? When
my father found out that I had made my proposal to my wife, he said, "Don't fuck it up."
Nice.
That's excellent advice, and I might suggest that you still take that for Susan's behalf. All right. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I would like to be a linguist. I'd like to study languages, and so my plan for retirement after the 400th anniversary. So in 2030, when I retire from this job, Jesse, what I want to do is every year I want to go to a different country. So I speak German, I speak a little bit of French, and I've studied some Italian. So each year I want to go to a different country and spend 2 months perfecting a language with a tutor, and then have, Susan and I have the ability to go travel that country, and so that I could actually speak it in a bit more of a native tongue, because I love languages so much. So it would be, by the time I die, to speak English, Spanish, French, German, and Italian.
So you're saying that you aren't grown up yet?
No, fuck no. We don't have kids. I still swear in front of your children. No, I am not a grown up, and I probably have a long way to get there.
All right, very final question that Karen has is, what's your favorite word or phrase to use?
Oh, wow. Well, I say cheers a lot. In fact, at the end of every email, at the end of every exchange, I lived in London as a bartender for a little while and went to school there, as you mentioned, to finish my degree, which was grueling. I had to go to class like once every 2 weeks for 5 hours. But, then I bartended, and I love that colloquialism of cheers. Mm-hmm. And so it fits with my job. It also fits with this idea that, it's sort of like, jolly old cheers, languages and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, hey, everybody who's watching, I love Between Two Ferns. I'm going to check out and let these guys do the Gruner. What I will say is that I met Jesse in 2004, at a wine festival with his brother Chris. And that's when our relationship began, because I saw bold people who were bucking the trends, who were going to make amazing wines. And I knew it then, and I know it today. I'm still so proud to basically make it up to Dixon once a month. This is what New Mexico wine is about. It's about our fun family that we have. It's the crazy personalities that are in this industry, and it's the really excellent wine that these guys make. So drink local, go to grapeaid.com this Saturday, and cheers.
Thank you
Chris.
So much, Chris.
Love you, brother, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and we will see you soon.
Hasta luego!
All right, so I'll move this out of the way.
Watch out for the computer again.
I know you say that every time, but
it always is
I
bouncing.
got it. God.
Anyway, that was Goblet. We have to deal with him all the time. Pain in my ass, but
I think
as you can see, it's a loving family.
Fabulous person, fabulous, amazing talent, and we are lucky enough to also call him a really good personal friend.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yes.
How are you doing? Let's check in.
Good.
How's your crush going?
Crush is going good. We pressed we pressed the Sangiovese, the red Sangiovese, so that was like 5.5, 6 tons worth of original grapes, but it's easier when it's red. I don't know. And then plus 3 ton of Refosco today, and they both taste really good. We're totally stoked, and things went great.
Excellent.
Me, Chris, and Francisco.
So we're drinking the Gruner.
Gruner
We've
Leonard.
got Save the Grape Aid, and we a couple of years ago had Save the Gruner. We had that on one of the episodes early on, but if you missed that, where we lit fires around the perimeter in order to stave off the frost. This year we had a different problem. What happened with the Gruner this year, babe?
This year we had a couple problems, but production was a little lower this year anyway. And then because it's been so dry, we had lots of birds in the valley, and we put nets on the grapes, and the birds got in there anyway because they're tenacious. And actually, there's a new bird in town that I feel like is a bird that we haven't seen around. It looks like a robin, but it's not quite a robin.
That sounds like you're talking about something else.
Do I fancy the birds? All the pretty birds walking around, or what? Is that where you were going with it?
Yeah, there's a new bird in town.
There's a new bird
Hey,
in town. Shake
stop
them
it.
tail feathers, baby. No. Anyway,
Oh God, that was
might
so
be.
dorky.
There might be a different migratory pattern going on. I don't know
Okay.
what, but these birds are like actually super smart and tenacious and hungry, voracious. So they got inside the nets. The Grooners are always the first ones to be kind of riper, and so I think we lost probably half the crop.
Which sucks, because this is
And it was a
one
low
of-
crop anyway.
And it's one of our favorites.
Yeah.
It's one of your favorites. So we're
So-
drinking the Gruner a little bit sadly.
Two
like
days
in-
ago.
More,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
what's the word? Mormontarian?
In memoriam?
Memoriam?
In memoriam.
Words. They're hard.
You must be big in the funeral industry.
I feel like Zoolander.
Right? What was the quote there?
The eulogy, he called it a
You
oogly.
googly?
You Google.
I can you Googleize like anybody else. You know.
This is quickly devolving into a hot mess. But
So on Tuesday, we picked the Riesling and the Gruner. We're gonna make probably a Northern White because it was down. All of our grapes are down a little bit, but in Velarde it looks like closer to a decent sized crop. So we'll probably just do a Northern White that ends up being.
you don't have enough Chardonnay to do a Abbott Chard?
It's going to come in on Monday. We'll see. Or they're going to pick it on Monday. I'll know by Tuesday. Well, I'll know by next week's show for sure how much we've got. We may do an Abbott Chard and a Northern White, which is mostly Riesling with Gruner in it.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. On the upside, the grapes were super high quality. I don't think we've ever had quality like this in the grapes. So, so I'm pretty stoked.
A lot of that's because you have Francisco working with you guys who can actually do a lot of the jobs
that we just don't have the time to do.
Yeah,
So he
like
watered.
water.
He actually irrigated the right amount this year, which we've never actually achieved. So anyway, I think the grapes are good. And the fruit set for next year ought to be insane, barring any.
But that does mean that
frost
we're going to
things.
sell out. So you need to probably get on it. If this is one of your favorite wines, order so that you have enough to get through the next year. Did want to.
We'll have it for a little bit. You probably have until at least the spring before we start thinking of running low, and then for next year we won't have Gruner. This time next year we won't have Gruner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's people don't think that way. Winemakers think that way.
Okay.
People don't think that way, and they're gonna be
By
like,
now.
"Wait, what the hell?
And forever.
Why'd you
hold
sell
your
out of my
peace."
wine? Oh, and you didn't even tell me. Well, I'm telling you now. I did want to quickly talk a little bit about Gruner as a grape. We have talked about it in previous episodes. I try to mix up what it is that we're saying.
Goblet texted me and he said his wife said, "Why are you so mean to Jesse?"
Why are you so mean to Jesse?
Why, Goblet? Why? Why are you so mean to Jesse? God damn it.
All right, so back to the Gruner grape. One of the things that we haven't touched on too much is our experience in Austria last spring. Well, not this last spring. A year ago.
Year and a half ago.
Yeah,
Literally a year and a
that's
half
what it
ago,
is.
exactly. It wasn't this spring. It wasn't COVID
It was
spring.
2019 spring. And that's where Gruner is originally from, is from Austria, and the Wachau. Am I saying it right?
Wachau, yeah.
Wachau.
Well, we should ask Goblet.
Oh, damn
He's
it.
the German speaker.
Yeah.
We're
working
going
on
to
it.
start.
Yes.
Our daughter's taking it. We're going to start taking it. I just downloaded Rosetta Stone.
Awesome. So maybe when things get normal and I get invited back to some of those competitions, I hope.
I'm going to be on the Goblet thing. I didn't say it when he was on, but I exactly feel like he does.
When you grow up, that you want to be a linguist?
I have dabbled in lots of languages. I know a little bit. I feel like I know Spanish. I think I could say I know Spanish and English, but then I've got like a little Italian, a little French. Not really.
Doesn't the word linguist sound dirty?
Cunnilinguist? Cunnilinguist would mean that there's multiple, you do multiple things, which maybe not exactly what you want.
I'm hoping you grow up soon, babe.
I would think that would mean multiple cunnilingi. Multiple recipients. I don't know.
Oh, you settle down with your birds. All right, but one of the things that I thought was...
There were a lot of birds around this summer.
Hey, stop. I don't know what you were doing. You said you were picking grapes. Now I have very big suspicions. While we were in Austria, we drank quite a bit of Gruner, and I felt like one of the things that was really interesting was when we were in Wachau, was learning about in this very, very small region, the different microclimates and how different the wines presented. And they would have you taste at any one winery their different vineyards. And the fruitier version versus a very citrus mineral version. And which one do you think that your particular Gruner would kind of sit in?
I don't know. Which one do you think it sits in?
I actually think it's a beautiful combination of the two. Over there, it was really very black and white. It was very different. And I feel like you have great ripe fruit, but you've got that minerality, you've got that citrus component, which I love.
Honestly, I think on several vintages we've picked it too ripe. I think we need to be picking a little bit earlier. This year was ridiculously early. We've never picked anything this early, and it was already overripe in my estimation. Yeah. So I think we need to bring that back, harvest earlier to really, really know. But I think that's going to bring out more citrus and more,
Totally, because at this point...
We've had a lot of honeyed aspects and things like that.
It's like a very ripe peach. Whereas I think in more, in Austria, you get more like a ripe pear instead. So a little nuances, right?
So, yeah.
Well, I love it. You love it.
Yeah.
You should buy it. All right. So before we let you go, we're trying to keep these shorter. Oh, it's so hard. But next week, we are going to have another special guest, 2 in a row.
Hey, now.
This next guest is going to be Chef Johnny B, who is...
No way!
I know.
Oh, that's cool. I love this dude.
He is phenomenal. He has been on all kinds of...
It's going to be way better than that Goblet interview.
Good. You too. But Johnny V has been on his plethora of talk shows, cooking shows. He's written his own cookbook. One of the coolest things is that he is so relatable. He has his classes in Santa Fe and has cooked at some of our picking parties. He's become a good friend. He's fantastic. He has done a lot of work with kids and doing these really amazing kids cooking camps and things. And so since a lot of you are at home with your kids going crazy with the homeschool, and a lot of people have talked about maybe we could just cook, maybe that's school.
Yeah.
And so he's actually going to illuminate us with how to make that educational. He's also going to tell us about how to make really great comfort food at home.
Ooh.
Yeah, and how to find what's in your fridge and make it into a cool date night meal. So, lots of cool stuff with him.
Pasta puttanesca is all I can think of.
What is with you, you slutty slut.
Just because the word puta is in the puttanesca doesn't mean that the pasta is slutty.
I think it is.
No, it's not. It just means whatever's in your fridge.
I think you're slutty.
Put
That's
it
why
in.
you like it.
Put it in the dish. That's all.
Oh, okay. Oh, see how he is. I don't know.
It's bad.
Anyway,
Johnny V's awesome. This is
Johnny
gonna be
V's
fun.
going to be amazing, and he's actually written an article about our Riesling that's going to be coming out in November. So we're going to taste the Riesling
Oh, no
as
way.
well. Yes.
Cool.
So thank you guys for joining us. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Have fun.